Hi everybody, Bob Mehsikomer. Hey, I've been in this game for almost 40 years, and when you're in the game as long as I have, you get a chance to meet people. But how often do you get a chance to meet your idol? I'm serious. When I was growing up, I had a tendency to watch fishing shows. And if you've ever watched a fishing show in your life, folks, I'm here to tell you that the man I'm about to bring on has probably been on your screen. Jimmy Houston, welcome to the show. How you doing, young man?
So good to see you. Been a while since I've seen you.
Oh, man, we were talking about way back at AMFTA days, man.
Right.
They call it ICAST now.
Yeah.
But
American Fishing Tackle Manufacturers Association, AFTMA, AFMA.
Yep.
AFTMA.
Yep.
But not hardly anybody said AFMA. Everybody said AFTMA.
Well, it was too long to say it's the other
I
way.
guess so. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, we remember where we fished. We just can't remember the words.
That's right. That's right.
So bring us up to speed, man. You've been doing a lot. You're still very active in the game. You're doing your thing, and that's key. Because, folks, what people don't realize is when you get older, like I am and like Jimmy is, you have a tendency, your body says slow down. But if you're in this game, folks, there's no slowing down. Because if you slow down, guess what? There's a young buck going to run you over.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I look up and see my age. I just can't hardly believe it because I'm doing the same things I've been doing forever all my life, and now we've got this big social media thing, which is a big deal. We've got 3 YouTube channels and a big Facebook page, and that's our 2 biggest entities. We've got about 1 million people in social media, but we're doing 600 videos a year for social media.
Goodness
in
gracious.
addition to 26 television shows on fishing, another 13 on hunting, and then plus do over 100 personal appearances. So I'd say that's not slowing down.
So what you're telling me is you got all kinds of free time.
Oh yeah, we got time to burn.
Now I know it could be a touchy subject, but if the folks are watching you, they know. How's your wife doing?
Chris is doing better all the time. Chris had that stroke 22 months ago.
Yeah.
April 5, 2 years ago. So we're closer to a 2-year anniversary, and the stroke was basically a fatal stroke that she did not die from. The doctor told me that morning she would most likely not ever leave that hospital alive, and that's been 22 months ago. And she still is in a wheelchair. She still can't use her right arm, but her speech is pretty good. I actually just talked to her about 10 minutes ago on the telephone, and she's talking. Most of the time I can understand her real well. Sometimes the words doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
Because it's just the signals from the brain. She knows what she wants to say. Sometimes the word doesn't come out right, but she is improving all the time, and that's the big deal. Is she's getting better all the time, and I believe that there'll be a day not too far in the distant future where she'll be able to walk again. She'll be able to talk plainly, and she'll be able to fish. That's one of the big things. You know, Chris fished 21 years in Bass and Gal tournaments and fished with me for all of my 54 years of tournament fishing that I did, and so.
Well, you are.
She'll be back fine.
You are a man of God.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest about it. I've followed you for decades, and there are many people in your stable that are praying for you and her. There's no question of that whatsoever. And I'll be honest with you, Jimmy. It's just to have an opportunity to sit with you and talk is like it's like when I first chance to meet Al Linder, and then I first had a chance to meet Roland Martin. I remember Al Linder and I, we were sitting on a shoreline one day, and it was 1977 thereabouts, 1978. Al Linder looked at me and he says, "You need to be in television. You need to be out there doing it." And as much as we like to do that, it's a scary thing.
Well, it's scary, and you and I were talking a little bit earlier. We started back before there was such a thing as cable or streaming. Streaming, of course, is a relatively new deal anyway, but and we started with network television in our very first year, which I think was 1977 or 78, 46 years ago, however that ciphers up. But we started in the first year, we guaranteed our sponsors 30 stations, and these were network stations. We had at CBS, NBC, ABC, and that's all there was to television. Many people actually still had black and white television at that time. Most people had color television, but that was a deal. I grew up with black and white television. I grew up with rabbit ears before antennas, and so we had 32 stations over the period of years there. Until I guess it must have been about 1990, we signed a deal with ESPN, and ESPN made us drop our stations, our regular stations. But at that time, we'd built that up to 103 stations, so we had to drop 103 television stations to go on this new concept that was called cable television.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and when we started with ESPN, they only had 30 million homes. That's all they had, and it might not have been that many. It might have been, I don't know, it might have been 10 million, but it was really rolling the dice. And you talk about scary, that's a really scary deal, because you know that when you have to drop those other stations, that you may or may not be able to get back on.
Yeah, you're leaving a proven commodity, something that's working for you.
Yeah, and you have a country boy from Oklahoma dealing with people from Connecticut.
Everywhere.
Yeah, they're northeastern people. They're different types. They're not like we are in the South, not like we are in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And really, people from the Midwest are not much different than people from the South, and we're all about the same. It's the people that's on both ends of the country that's different than we are. Or we're different than them, praise God. but that's one of the differences right there.
It's a shame. It's a shame they got great bass fishing in California.
Oh, they do. But ESPN's been good to us. We were on there 21 years, and they kicked us off when they acquired a third of the rights to NASCAR, canceled out all their fishing shows. We were the last one to go. But we are now back on ESPN Saturday mornings at 7:30, and so we'll be on there in the morning at 7:30. But the social media deal has become a big part of what we do. Streaming, you're talking about streaming like Roku. The streaming has become a big deal, and I think that television will always be big.
It'll always have a place.
But it will maybe it'll only be 100% streaming, not too far in the distant future. Just like right now, on most people, I don't know if most, but a good percentage of people that watch our YouTube channels, we have 3 channels: Jimmy Houston Outdoors Fishing, Jimmy and Chris Houston Twin Eagle Ranch, and Catch a Better Life, which is a daily devotional channel we put up every day. Got a fishing tip on for every day, a devotional, and a built around fishing, and of course the scripture. And and we put that video up at 5 o'clock every morning, every single morning. But most of the people, or a lot of the people right now, have that YouTube app right on their television. So they turn their television on, they go over there and they click a button on the clicker and turn that app on, and they're watching television just like we were watching it on rabbit ears when we were kids.
And right here, my wife Casey is crazy about this stuff. She says, "Honey, I know you're a computer guy. I know you watch this stuff on computers.
This is my computer.
I know you're.
I don't have one of those.
I know you're religious about that computer, but I'm telling you, the majority of the people will take out their phones and stream what they're doing. They stream it in their office. They stream it in their cars. They stream it while they're here."
On airplanes?
Yeah, it's just amazing. The whole world has changed so much.
I was on an airplane last night, and the guy across the aisle from me is watching Yellowstone on his iPad.
Oh, absolutely.
Watching Yellowstone on his iPad.
Absolutely.
And that's only a streaming show. That's only a streaming show.
It's the only way to get it.
Yeah.
So what's in the future for Mr. Houston?
I'm going to just keep on keeping on. We have no plans of retiring. My 2 buddies, Bill Dance and Roland Martin, will both be 83 this year. Roland will be 83 next month. My buddy Johnny Morris, who owns Bass Pro Shop, will be 75.
Yeah.
and Bill will be 83 this fall. They're both still going hard. Roland's going a little bit harder than Bill, but both of them still doing television shows. Both of them big in social media, and both of those guys have real nice YouTube channels as well. And I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm not. We do about 100 personal appearances a year. About 15 or 20 or 25 of those are church speaking events. I'm speaking at church tomorrow night in McGehee, Arkansas. And they're feeding 400 people, so we'll have a good crowd there. And why quit?
Well, I talked to Denny Brower the other day, and because Denny's going to be doing some stuff with us. We have a new, and I might even talk to you about it. We have a new program coming up called Coffee and Rods. and it's going to be 5 anglers, professionals, or industry people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a round table,
Yeah.
and it's going to be done via the internet. It's
Right.
going to be done all with all. But we're so excited about launching it. And Denny Brower says, Bob, I would love to help work on it with you, but I can't commit to every week.
Yeah.
I'm sort of retired.
He's quit the tournament, but he's still fishing a few tournaments around in Texas.
Yeah.
And so he's not really totally quit. And you remember Guy Aker, of course.
Oh, yeah,
Guy
absolutely.
still fishes tournaments. Tommy Martin still fishes
Tommy
tournaments.
Martin, yeah.
Both of those guys will be 82 or 83 this year.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they're both the same age. They're fishing not national tournaments, but local tournaments. But Guy Aker is actually putting together a new tournament organization, and he is trying to put together a Legends tournament. And I told Guy, I said, Guy, a Legend tournament's great. It sounds like fun. Count me in. But you need to get this tournament started before we're all 90 years old. Because there's some of us have got to be 80, and some of us are real close to it. And when I said some of us, Guy said, "Oh yeah, I passed 80." And I said, "I know, Guy. I was being polite."
Polite.
But anyway, yeah. Now, you know, one of the things that I've noticed about this deal of fishermen and older age, most of the guys that I've talked about are guys that have been fishing tournaments, guides, fishing basically for a living 30, 40, 50 years
Yep.
and longer.
Yep.
You know, we fished tournaments 54 years, and we've done the television show 46. And there's something to be said about being outside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, farmers historically have lived a long time, and they've lived a long time back when the life expectancy was 55 or 60 years old. These farmers would still live. A lot of it is just what God created. It's got a big old yellow ball they call the sun.
Yep.
That comes up every morning, never fails. In my lifetime, it's never failed. And it comes up every morning. That sun is breathing life into you. And one of the problems that I think that we will have as this generations grow older, as they always do, is that the kids that are running around like here at this show this weekend are not getting much of that
No,
sunshine.
they're not getting out. Yeah.
Some of them that are here at an outdoor show are getting more because their mom and dad's carrying them fishing.
Exactly.
But most of them are, again, looking at this,
Yeah.
and they're inside most of the time. You don't see kids playing in the neighborhood, out playing sandlot baseball or shooting hoops in the driveway. One of the problems is it's dangerous to leave those kids outside. And then secondly, so many of them would rather be on your computer or they want to be on a device.
Yeah, a device.
It's all about
Some
device.
sort, yeah.
I saw a cartoon the other day. I saw a cartoon that somebody sent me on my device. And it showed a couple of deer coming into a cornfield.
Yep.
And one of them said, "Oh, stop! There's a human." And another deer said, "No, don't worry about it. It's a scarecrow."
It's a scarecrow.
And he said, "How do you know?" Because it looked real in the cartoon. He said, "How do you know?" And he said, "Because it's not looking at its phone."
Doesn't have a device. It doesn't have a device.
So if you're going to put a scarecrow out in that, corn farmer,
Yeah, make sure it has a device.
put your own phone in there. Have him looking at that because you're not fooling the deer anymore.
Hey,
You're
folks.
not fooling the deer anymore.
We could ratchet jaw all day here at the Ohio show here in Columbus, Ohio, with one of the true legends, Jimmy Houston. And maybe Jimmy will stop back in before he's out of here. But we want to say God bless Jimmy and God bless Chris and everything that you're doing. If you can help me out with any of those connections, let's see Johnny Morris. Let's see. We'll go right on down that line, you know, and make it all happen. But that being said, I want to say thanks to Jimmy Houston for coming on the show today. We're going to have more right here from the Columbus show. It is the Expo right here, National Fishing Expo in Columbus, Ohio. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot more coming from this show. Folks, I'm telling you, there was a flood of people coming in this door when they opened it up this morning. It's going to get noisy. We'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.